All right, what is up, gamers? Staxwell's back at it again today with another deck tech. I was able to take down my local ProQuest with Kasai. I've been putting a ton of reps into Kasai, a ton of work on her, and I think I have some valuable intel that is going to benefit a lot of people, and especially if you're new to Kasai, stick around. I think I have a very unique, simple, streamlined view, very streamlined build, and I don't think the deck has any like truly bad matchups either, which is a huge allure of the deck, and it has plenty of unlosable matchups, which is always nice. A very good math deck, very good basics of flesh and blood kind of deck. Yeah, without further ado, let's just go ahead and jump straight into it here. This deck is a bit tailored to my local meta, which is very brute heavy, very Kano heavy. So if you're struggling into either of those heroes, Kano, KO, Levia, even Rhinar, anything like that, this build is going to work perfect for you. So yeah, let's just go ahead and jump in here. No Patreon paywall or anything like that. I'm going to give you guys all the juice, all the sauce right here. Centauri Hot Streak. We're playing this because you want to be able to play an effective one-card hand, right? So if you pitch a blue, attack with Hot Streak, it kind of puts them in a weird spot, especially if you Kasai effect before you do that. It makes it so they don't want to block, but they have to block because they don't want to give you a gold. And if they block, then they have to block again on the Centauri. It's very rare that this effect is like super relevant, but when it is, it's way more relevant than the effect of a second Centauri Saber would be, right? If the effect of the second Centauri Saber goes off, it's +1. If the effect of the Hot Streak goes off, it's go again, which is probably worth more than 1, right? So that's why I'm playing it that way. I'm on Dynamos, Tunic, Balance. This is what you're playing most of the time. And then Brayforge. I love Tunic. You could definitely swap some cards in here. We'll go over it later if you really want to play Grains. I personally love Tunic, so I have a lot of one-cost things in here just because I want to cash in that extra resource, right? So, for example, in the sideboard, I play Steel Blade Shunt. I want to cash in that Tunic counter to make Steel Blade Shunt a 1-card 6, potentially a 1-card 7. Those kind of good math exchanges are what's winning us our games. And Tunic just enables it in such a way that Grains never could, right? I think Tunic is just the best card in Flesh and Blood. Every single deck I make kind of revolves around it in some way. So yeah, that's the normal equipment suite. Sometimes you're playing Crown of Dominion because the whole reason we're on Kasai is because we could raise an army. Raising an army is an auto win against so many decks if you're able to do it against like Victor, any other warrior, Azalea, Runechant, Viserai, Riptide, all these slow, dirtily, D-react pile decks kind of fold to raise an army. And it's not hard to get damage through when we're playing so many attack reactions. You guys will see that later. So yeah, half the decks in the game, we kind of just auto win with raise an army. That's part of what makes it such a good deck right now is so many heroes can't go wide. So many heroes just play D-react piles. And Raise an Army is just like so good right now. It's kind of insane. Yeah, so anyway, this is tailored toward my local. Like I said before, a lot of Kano at my local. Because of that, I play AB3. If there's not a lot of Kano at your local, then I would say cut the hood because the equipment suite you want against Kano is going to look something like this. And this is because you want the Tunic all the time because you want to be able to Oasis Respite things. And then you want the Balance because when they tome, you could just balance and get a card. Hopefully it's a blue. Hopefully that lets you AB2 more, right? But since there's so much Kano and there's quite a bit of pitch stacking Kano at my locals, I wanted to just kind of ensure that they had to pitch stack me. And so yeah, my game plan was like make them pitch stack me, have a counter here, and then an Oasis and Arsenal. And then they have to pitch stack me and kill me through Oasis while I'm D-reacting and raising an army and kind of just going crazy on them. That was my plan into them. I actually didn't wind up playing any Kano. But yeah, if your locals doesn't have a lot of Kano, then definitely cut this. It's not super necessary. Sometimes you also get stuck with yellows in your hand. So all you need is AB2, really. Yeah, moving on. Oh, so the way I have the deck too is super simple. I have 10 equipments, and then I have a 50-card main board, and then a 20-card sideboard. And, you just kind of put in whichever 10 cards best fit the situation. And I have a 10-card defensive package and a 10-card offensive package. That's why I say this deck is very streamlined. It's very good for beginners because there's not a lot of like decisions in sideboarding, right? So you play these 50. Are you the aggressor? Okay, you put in 10 attack reacts. Are you a defense, like taking a more defensive stance in the matchup? Yes. Okay, you put in 10 D reacts. It's kind of how it plays. Let's just go ahead and jump into it here. Yeah, these are the reds. Not a whole lot to say here. I don't think anyone's even considering cutting any of these. This is kind of the reason you're playing Kasai. The numbers on these cards are insane, especially when you start getting Valiant Dynamo value out of your go again. The math on the cards is just absolutely stupid. Slice and Dice. Some people are cutting this card, and I have no idea why. It's one of the only 0-for-4s available to Warrior, so I would definitely not recommend cutting it. This card's kind of insane. And it blocks for 3. And then also, like, one of the things with Kasai is, you know, with Nourishing, people are kind of like, I could let Nourishing hit because I can't use a 5-card hand. Well, why are you guys cutting the cards that, like, enable you to use a 5-card hand? Unless you're also cutting Nourishing, it doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Speaking of which, Nourishing, I wouldn't cut this card. This card's insane. Not only is it, like, a popper, but, you know, obviously you could banish the other Nourishings with Kasai's effect to turn on the second and third Nourishing. And if your deck is built in such a way, like mine, where you have a bunch of attack reacts in the sideboard, then it's really easy to use a 5-card hand. Or, you know, there's also a lot of D reacts in the sideboard. That's why it's in the base 50s, because it's good in both plans. There's a lot of D reacts, right? So if you throw this at a KO, they're kind of lost. They're like, man, I want to keep, but if I keep, he gets 5 cards. If he has 5 cards, he has more D reacts. So I kind of have to block it. That's like the situation you want to put them in. Make them use their armor on this card. Just because armor is so good against Kasai naturally. I kind of love it when people use their armor to eat up my Nourishing Emptiness. Yeah, I've seen a couple people cut it. I definitely wouldn't recommend it. Take it on the chin ×3. I see some people play only 2 of this card, and I get it. If you draw 2 of this card, it sucks. But this card is just so good. You always want to see it. And if a card is that good, you always want to see it. You'll figure out a way to make 2 in your hand work, right? You'll Arsenal 1. You'll figure it out. This card's just insane. The math on it is just crazy. Yeah, I don't want to harp on it too much, but start running the numbers in your head and you'll get it. Yeah, 3 taken on the chin. It's not really up for debate for me. That card is just insane. Only 2 raise an army. I could hear an argument to go up to 3 just because the yellow count is kind of soft. But if you're not on the raise an army plan, if you're not on the gold plan period or the currency plan, then this card becomes kind of mid. And if I'm playing against like a KO, for example, right? Of course, I'm never planning on doing this. And if I'm activating my Kasai all the time, the gold that I get, I actually just crack it. I don't even save it for raise an army or anything, even though they're in my main deck, they're in my deck somewhere. If I stumble into it, cool. But most of the time, this is a blue, or this is a yellow block 3. That's something I want to touch on real quick before we continue on the list. Say you have like a 1-cost attack reaction that gives something go again, and a blue, like this is the hand you're keeping, right? You're blocking with 2 cards, and these are the 2 you want to play. In this situation, I see a lot of Kasais make this mistake. If you're not playing specifically into raise an army, so if you're like against KO, you're not raising an army, right? So don't save your gold. You want to crack the gold, draw a card. Kind of almost doesn't matter what you draw. Anything you draw is going to be at least decent in Arsenal, and then you could still Saber, run through Saber, and then you'll end the turn with an Arsenal, or who knows, maybe you'll draw like an In the Swing or a Blade Runner or something you could utilize that turn. So yeah, that's a mistake I see a lot of KO players making. So I just want to touch on that before we continue too much in the deck list here. Sorry for the tangent. I just had to get it out. Yeah, 3 blood on our hands because copper is a way that you win a lot of matchups. You want to set up a lot of copper for blood on our hands. And it's a yellow block 3. You can't ask for more out of a card. 6 Blade Runners in yellow. These are just the best yellows we could play, so we're playing them. We need them for Kasai's effect. I'm a little yellow light, but that's because I like to block and I like to make the game go long. And if the game goes long, you're going to see your yellows. I have 3, 6, 9, 10, 11, and I always side in 1 more, so I'll have 12, which is 6 Kasai activations. Hopefully you can figure out 6, make that work for you somehow. The blues are just go-agains here. These are, 3, 6, 9, 12 go-agains, and then I have some attack reactions. I have the 1 fatal because I want them to look through my grave in that second cycle situation, and then they see this card, and maybe their heart drops and think, now they have to think, like, another card is in the mix of how do I block fatal engagement? Should I block with this? Should I overblock? Oh, if I overblock, then, you know, the card I'm overblocking with is an attack action, and then fatal engagement becomes better, and, you know, you want to put your opponent in these weird think tanks where they're trying to formulate an out to 12 different cards. And when they start doing that is when they start messing up. Start overblocking for cards they should never be overblocking for. And yeah, it's a blue. It goes second cycle. When you become second cycle and you have all blues in your hand, play one of the go again blues, attack with a sword, and then if you have either this or overpower in your hand, that's enough to sure up the game a lot of times, right? When you get down to that like 5-5 situation and you're both second cycle on all your blues. It's just insane. Those cards are insane. To hold the line, again, a lot of Brute at my locals. If there's not a lot of Brute at your locals, you don't have to play this card. But yeah, it's in the base deck because you're always playing it. Doesn't matter if it's also insane into Warrior, right? Just having that 2 block on a defense reaction is kind of nice. And it's a blue for Kano, so it always AVs 3. Yeah, so that's the 50 base. Like we said, 50 base, 20 side. I have a defensive package and an offensive package. Let's just go ahead and jump into the defensive package here. I have That All You Got, 3 Oasis, 3 Sync, and 3 Shunt. I want to be using my Tunic with these. Don't see Oasis and just think it's for Kano, because it's not. It's for Azalea, Bravo. I even side one into Brute, into KO. So yeah, just having a Tunic and turning a Tunic counter into 6 value, too good. If you don't like Tunic and you just want to play Grains, cool. Just turn these into Fate Forescenes, turn those into That All You Got. Maybe turn this into another Hold the Line, and you don't have to worry about Tunic counters. But I like them, so this is the way I play it. And it works out great for me. Yeah, not a lot to say on this. If you have a lot of Warrior at your locals, I would say, maybe you don't have a lot of Kano, right? So then cut, maybe cut these for 2 That All You Got, and then you could kind of just play like this. This deck is tailored to my locals. If you're playing a Pro Quest, you should be tailoring your deck to your locals as well. Or, if you're going to Pro Tour or whatever, you should be tailoring it to that meta, right? So this is tailored to the meta I was playing. And then I have 10 of my aggressive cards. These are the cards that come in against decks that I want to be raising an army against decks that I want to be pressuring and trying to kill as quickly as I possibly can. So yeah, let's just go ahead. We're just playing a bunch of attack reacts. Route, 2 Iron Song Response, 3 Out for Blood, Overpower, 2 Outland Skirmish, and a Yellow Fatal. These cards sound extremely weird, and the only regret I have is I wish I made this a yellow Overpower, I think. The red one wasn't like insane for me or anything. But a big problem I had with the deck before was decks that were just like D-react piles. Like Riptide, Runechant Viserai, certain like Stall Guardian kind of cards, Fatigue Betsy, Fatigue Bravo, Max, the Hype Nitro. There's so many decks that it's just like a dirtily D-react pile. I'm never gonna get any damage through, and then they're gonna combo me at some point. Yeah, Pistol Dash. So I was kind of sick of losing to that stuff, so I play just a bunch of ways to push damage now. And pushing damage is good in Kasai because you also get gold. When you get gold, you're able to raise an army, and those dirtily decks kind of lose hard to raise an army. So that's why I'm playing it the way I'm playing it. If you notice, the way I have both sideboard packages, there is the one yellow, and that's just to be able to activate Kasai 6 times in a game. That's it for the deck list. I do want to talk about, I guess I'll talk about my matchups and stuff. So it was 5 rounds, cut to top 8. One I played against Max, the Hype Nitro, actually. And yeah, all these attack reacts came in super handy. I was able to race him down and kill him before he was able to make the mech on me, lucky enough. He was a turn or 2 late on finding the mech when I was able to kill him. So yeah, all these weird looking cards, right? Overpower, Yellow Fatal Engagement, Out for Blood. Like, these cards just look weird. Route, you're like, what? These cards are bad. They are bad. Until you're having 5 free cards every turn, you don't know how to activate them. Then all of a sudden these cards become insane. So I was able to kill the Max before he made the mech. Round 2, I played against Victor. Same thing. I just sided in the Raisin Army, and then I put like a little hybrid thing in. So I didn't play these cards or these cards. And I played like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think I played like something like this. And then I used all my attack reacts to raise an army. Whenever he threw something big at me, I just blocked. And Raisin Army just carried me. I played Crown of Dominion. I was able to resolve 2 Raisin Armies, both for 2 sellswords each, and that was just too much for him to keep up with. Round 3, I played against Levia. That matchup is very, very good for you. Didn't have any issues with it. And then he was at 14 and wanted to block with his hand so he could flip. I think that's what he was trying to do. Maybe he wasn't playing the flip, but that's how I perceived it. And then I was able to sword with go again into Nourishing Emptiness, dominate, ruined his flip turn. Felt pretty cool with that one. The next round I played against a KO, and then Kasai versus KO. Pretty normal stuff there. Kasai kind of beats up on KO. That's why you play in this deck. It's just free wins into KO. It's kind of the whole shtick here, right? And then the next round I played against Reinar. The Reinar was a good game, but you know, the D-React package is just so good into Reinar because you know, being able to park all this stuff in your arsenal, and then it just doesn't matter if he intimidates you, right? You have so many D-Reacts, and it's not a huge deal. So I think the Reinar matchup is also good. I was able to take that one somewhat handedly as well. Next round, I played against... Oh, that was the 5 rounds. So then top 8, I played against KO. And I was first seed, so I was able to choose who goes first. I was like, you could go first. And he was like, Cast Bones, Arsenal Blood Rush. Man, I thought my run was over. Let me tell you guys what. I thought my run was over. He did miss that Cast Bones, which helped a lot. And then on another turn, he wound up rolling Scabs and rolling a 1. And that's not good. I was able to take that game still having 10 life left. Oh, yeah, also in the Levia game, I actually drew both of these on his Blood Rush turn and a Sink Below. So it was like block, block, sink. I wound up blocking for like 25 that turn and then still presenting 8. This card's like actually insane against Levia specifically because they also have Art of War, right? So it's just live so frequently. But yeah, that was top 8. I barely won that KO game. And then top 4, I played against the same KO I played against in Swiss. This one was not quite close either. Just like Kasai's just so good into KO, and not only that, this poor guy, shout out Rare Hunter, but he was low rolling. He drew like 12 blues back to back, and I think I ended the game at like 15 life or something. Nothing on his part. Amazing player, fantastic player. But yeah, Kasai just kind of beats up on that deck, right? So that was a good one. And then top 2, I played against the same Levia I played against in Swiss. And he actually wanted to go to Amsterdam. He actually wanted to go to Amsterdam, and I didn't. So it didn't really make sense for me to try and win and take it from him. And then he offered to give me the gold foil if I give him the win. So it's a no-brainer, right? Why would I play for an invite I'm not going to use? That just kind of seems like an asshole thing to do. So that's what we did. And yeah, it was a great tournament, great deck. I put a lot of reps into this. I think this list, it'll be in the description below, is going to get you pretty far. It's a good starting point. You know, try it out. Let me know in the comments down below what you think. Also, let me know, do you guys want gameplay videos, anything like that? And if you're looking to pick up this deck or buy any of the cards that you may be missing, please do so using the TCG Player affiliate, the link in the description below. It would help me out a lot. Yeah, any questions at all regarding the deck, just let me know in the comments down below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and don't forget to stick around for the opening of the gold foil later, gamers.
And then it's like this, yeah.
Oh my god. God damn it, Tom. Fuck.